Heartless, Forbidden, Book 1. Written by Suzana Thompson. Narrated by Paulina Schubert. Chapter 8. I spent the rest of the afternoon and evening feeling more depressed than I ever have in my life. I had completely screwed up, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. Maybe I should have pretended to Skylar that Cade forced the kiss on me, but that just felt so wrong. He was an arrogant asshole, but I couldn't make him out to be some kind of rapist, not even to save my friendship with Skylar. My actions were already bad enough, but lying about that would have made me completely despicable. I could have just not said anything to her about it at all, but I couldn't stomach that option either. Staying silent about Cade's cheating would have essentially made me the other woman in this situation. I would have been racked with guilt the first time he kissed her, while she was blissfully oblivious to the fact that he had also kissed me. I had no intention of ever letting it happen again, but I also couldn't forget that it had happened. Cade was wrong about me wanting him for myself. Although I'd felt a physical attraction toward him when he got too close, I hadn't ever wanted to draw his attention to me. I hadn't done anything to make myself appealing to him in any way. My appearance was still exactly the same, and I certainly hadn't flirted with him, or even tried to engage him in conversation. Poor Skylar had gone all out, and he didn't appreciate it one bit. I hoped that after the dust settled that she would realize how unworthy he was of her. I was glad that she hadn't heard him call her boring, and especially that she didn't know he claimed to have asked her out only to spite me. Her confidence didn't need a hit like that. What an asshole! It made me fuming mad every time I thought about his callousness. The only good thing to come out of this whole mess was that I no longer had to worry about Cade seducing Skylar. At least she was safe from being used that way by him. He had still broken her heart, but at least she hadn't been in that deep with him. She would be spared the regret of sleeping with him, and I hoped that that would help her heart mend faster. The worst part of it was that I was involved in breaking her heart. I could have consoled her if it had been some other girl, but I was actually the salt in her wound. No, there was no way to fix this as far as I could see. Our friendship wasn't going to survive this, especially with me moving into Cade's house. It turned out to be happening sooner than I anticipated. After reassuring Mom that I was feeling much better and sipping some of the ginger ale she had brought me, I heard her latest excited news about the wedding. It was going to be at the end of September. This September? I asked in dismay. Yes, Mom confirmed. I thought it would be impossible to find a place that wasn't already booked months in advance, but Robert suggested that we have it at the house. He would also like you to get started right away on redecorating your room. Maybe this weekend? Sure, I replied. And we'll go shopping for dresses, she said. I could tell that she was just as eager to get married as Robert was. Mom had refused to move in with him before they got married, so I guessed that this was the reason he wanted to get married as soon as possible. It seemed like Mom couldn't wait either, which I supposed was the way it should be when two people were in love. Mom's happiness was the only bright spot in my life right now. Do you think that Skylar would like to be a bridesmaid? She inquired, and my mood plummeted. She hates me, I confessed. Oh, Mom, I messed up bad. What happened? She asked in concern. She likes this guy, I explained, but he kissed me, and now she hates me. This boy kissed you? She likes him, but he likes you, she surmised. And you like him too. That's a tricky one. No, I told her, I don't like him at all. That's what's so messed up about it. He's a selfish jerk, but I let him kiss me anyway because he's good looking. I knew that she liked him, Mom, but I still wanted him to kiss me. I had just admitted to her what I hadn't even wanted to admit to myself. Cade hadn't misinterpreted what he saw in my eyes when he pressed me up against his car this morning. I had desired him, and that was the ugly truth I couldn't escape. Why am I like this? I demanded in desperation. Why am I attracted to jerks? Mom sighed. I hope you don't have my mother's taste in men. Her mother died when Mom was 12. It hadn't been her abusive husband that killed her, but cancer. I had wondered why she had such bad luck. Wasn't a terrible marriage enough to suffer in life? I would have liked to have had my maternal grandmother around, but Mom's father probably would have forbidden her from seeing me just like he forbid Mom's stepmother. You shouldn't let a guy get between you and your friend, Mom advised me. Too late, I remarked. He already has. Are you dating him? She asked. No way, I proclaimed. I'm never making a mistake like that again. I'm not going to date again until I finish college. Her lips twisted like she was trying to hold back a smile. Good idea. I'm not, I insisted. Guys just ruin everything. I hurried on as she opened her mouth to say something. I know you met Dad in high school, but he was 1 in a million. He was, she agreed with that soft smile she always had when we talked about him. I asked her once if she ever felt sad when she thought about him, because I had secretly wondered why she never looked sad when we mentioned him. She had answered that he'd always made her happy, so remembering him made her happy. She had also said that she felt like he was watching over me and seeing me grow up. He's not gone, she said. He's just somewhere else. I liked to think so too, but sometimes I wished so much that he was here instead of somewhere else. I would feel more secure if I had him to lean on. I tried not to be a burden on Mom because she had enough to deal with. She had Robert to help her now, and I was glad for her, but it also made me feel more alone. She had him to share her life with now, and I had no one. I didn't even have Skylar anymore, but that was my own fault. What a waste it was to lose my best friend over Cade. If Mom knew that he was the guy who had come between us, she wouldn't have reacted so calmly. I was aware that revealing that to her could create a big problem for her and Robert, because she wouldn't want me living with the guy who had kissed me. Since I was resolved not to let that ever happen again, I was sure that there was no need to tell Mom. I worried about Cade deciding to use it as a way to stop the wedding, since he had failed in his plan for the prenup. I no longer needed our deal, since he couldn't manipulate Skylar anymore. He had nothing else to hold over my head except this secret that could upset our parents. I hoped that it wouldn't occur to him to tell them, but all I could do was wait and see. I woke up tired and dejected the next day. Mom was working the early morning shift at Denny's again, so I didn't have to pretend that I was going to bounce back from this. I dreaded seeing Skylar at school today. I wanted to claim illness again and stay home, but I couldn't do that every day. I thought I had gotten the worst part over with yesterday when I confessed my betrayal to her, but now I had to prepare myself to live with her hatred. I deserved it, but I skipped breakfast to avoid another bout with an upset stomach. It was still roiling with anxiety as I rode the bus to school. I didn't meet up with Skylar by her locker before classes started like I usually did, and I was already missing our comfortable routine. My feet dragged me reluctantly to my first class, but Skylar never showed up to it. I would normally have texted her, but I hesitated since I knew she now hated me. I went back and forth on it all day and always deleted the texts I started to write to her. I still wasn't hungry at lunchtime, so I went to the library to avoid having to make small talk with the people at my table in the cafeteria. I now realized that I would have to move from that table since Skylar would no longer be sitting at Cade's table and would be back sitting at ours. I was sure that she wouldn't want to sit with me, so I would have to find somewhere else to sit. "Why aren't you eating lunch?" Cade asked me as he invaded my refuge in the quiet library. I stopped my musings about Skylar and half-heartedly focused on him. Not hungry. "The wedding is next month," he told me. "Yeah," I said. "What the hell's wrong with you?" he demanded. "You look like you're ready to jump off a bridge." "Good idea," I responded in the same dejected tone. He scowled at me. "Over Skylar? Are you kidding me?" "She hates me," I exclaimed. "She'll get over it," he said dismissively. "No, she won't," I insisted. "I kissed her boyfriend. She'll never forgive me. Never." "Boyfriend?" he questioned in disbelief. "We never even went on a date." "Because of me," I said with all the self-recrimination I was feeling. "You didn't even want her to go out with me," he reminded me. "I didn't want her to hate me either," I said. "Then why'd you tell her?" he asked. "Because I had to," I replied. "She had to know that she couldn't trust you." "Whatever," he said impatiently. "Stop moping. Dad wants you to come over and start on that room. I'll drive you to my house after school." "I've got work after school today," I told him. "Don't be ridiculous," he snapped. "You don't need that job anymore." "Since I am not independently wealthy, I need that job," I retorted. "You're moving into my house," he began. That's right, I interjected. Your house, not mine. Nothing in that house is mine, but the money I earn is mine. So I'm going to work after school. I'll come over before my shift tomorrow. He regarded me for a moment. You're serious? You're really keeping that crappy job? If it's so crappy, then why do you eat their food? I demanded. We don't need you or your snobby attitude, so go to one of your fancy restaurants next time you're hungry. He just stood there smirking at me. What? I demanded. You're back, he said, and began to walk away before I could ponder what he meant. See you in class, partner, he called out with his back turned to me. He was gone before I could argue that Jenna was my partner. I got up to sprint after him because I realized that I didn't want to discuss our former deal in class. I caught up to him in the hallway outside the library, which was thankfully still empty. Hey, wait, I called. He stopped walking and turned to look at me. Yes? Jenna's my partner, I reminded him. The teacher marked us down as partners. I had been about to mention that our deal was off, but decided not to bring it up if I could help it. I told the teacher yesterday that we were switching partners, he informed me. You're with me. The presumptuous way he said that irked me. You can't just change it without asking me. I don't have to be your partner. Yeah, you kinda do, he countered casually. You see, Alexi, my dad got really pissed at me for wanting your mom to sign a prenup. He told me that I better treat her with the utmost respect. He's a stickler for all that. So he wouldn't allow us to live together if he knew what happened yesterday. That would kind of make it hard for them to get married, don't you think? I said nothing as I wondered why he was using this for something so insignificant as a school project and not to stop the marriage. Don't think they'll believe me? He inquired in the same casual tone. I'll tell your mom to ask Skylar about it. She might have some things to say. I narrowed my eyes at him. Why don't you want me to talk to Jenna? What kind of dirt does she have on you? His expression darkened and his voice was cold as ice. Jenna is permanently cut off. What does that even mean? I questioned. It means she's out for good. I wouldn't spit on her if she was on fire. Don't ever cross me, Lexi, he warned. I'll step right over you if I see you dying in the street. I'm giving your mom a chance against my better judgment, he continued as I stared at him. If she fucks my dad over, I'll make it my mission in life to destroy her. After that charming declaration, he left me standing there wondering if I wouldn't be better off getting my mom and myself as far away from Cade Stover as possible. Then I scoffed at his bullshit. He was just a 17-year-old guy with a rich daddy. He didn't have any kind of power to destroy anyone. I'd play by his stupid rules if he backed off and let my mom marry his dad in peace.